Hi everyone, I'm Michael Uriarty or Dr. Mike, and welcome to Technique Talk, the MYK System, and more. This is episode 37 in our series of comparing and contrasting other techniques with the MYK system. Today, we're going to talk about the Pettibon System technique. So if you want more information on either technique, I have the website links in the description below. If you have not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I have a lot more videos coming. Whether you're a patient looking to get help or a practitioner looking for a good technique, this series is for you. Let's dive in. All right, let's jump in and look at first of all, who developed the Pettibon system, and that was Burl Pettibon, and he passed away a little bit ago. But when I was going to school, I actually got to meet Burl. I actually got to train with Burl, learn from Burl, and so that was kind of a cool experience for me. So I know a little bit about the Pettibon system because I've used it, I've practiced it, I've learned from him, and so it says here, who developed it? Burl Pettibon. Why did he develop it? And Burl noticed a gap. Now, this is what they're finding from the website here. So Burl noticed a gap in chiropractic care. There was no standardized model for an ideal spine. While chiropractors could correct obvious misalignments, there was no clear reference for optimal spinal alignment. And so he used x-rays to define this model and create a comprehensive rehabilitation program for the spine's bones, the hard tissue, and the soft tissue, the muscles and the ligaments, to achieve lasting spinal health. Okay, so that's what it says as far as, what he did. He had some really cool ideas and some cool ways of doing things. And so with me, okay, what did we come up with, and why did we kind of come up with this? Is basically I wanted to put together a treatment for the massage therapist in my office that they could bill for a treatment for. And so it was going to use, my original idea was to put together a technique that I could combine with chiropractic care and then do this as a secondary component to make a more complete, specific treatment for the patient. And once we put everything together and started using it, the patients were kind of requesting, hey, we just want this. And so I started doing just the MyoKinesthetic on them, and people got better and it lasted longer. And so I just started doing more and more, and it became its own technique from that. And then we kind of evolved and got into, posture and being able to look at the posture, what's wrong with your nervous system based on your postural imbalances, how do we balance that? Then we got into treating the organs. And so it just keeps evolving, we just keep going. And that's what Burl did as well. Burl evolved over the years. He just kept doing the research and kept doing things. And so that's kind of cool. All right, so conditions treat it. So it says the Pettibon system primarily targets spinal-related issues caused by misalignments or poor posture. So you got back pain, neck pain, headaches. It uses chiropractic adjustments, exercises, and specialized equipment like the wobble chairs. They have head weights. He had these little headbands. You'd stick a little weight on it. And he said one time, we're having trouble with patient compliance on some of this. And I'm like, yeah, who wants to put a headband on with a weight sticking on the side and walk into a business meeting? That's just not going to happen, So that's something you can do at home, but it's not going to, you can't do that and wear it all day and something like that. So anyway, and they also have some strengthening exercises and supporting things for that. So the Pettibon system itself, there's a number of different materials you can buy, different things you can buy for rehabbing different things. So with the MyoKinesthetic system, we focus on, there's a number of different things. It's not just regulated to spinal conditions. It's not just regulated to, headaches and back pain and things like that. We get into, shin splints, shoulder problems, carpal tunnel, sciatica, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, also peripheral neuropathy. We get very, very good results with peripheral neuropathy. And then in the third class, we get into, organ-related issues, acid reflux, incontinence, different things like that. So there's a number of different things, and all of our treatments are about 15 minutes or less. Now, to a chiropractor, 15 minutes is a long time for a treatment. From a treatment standpoint, 15 minutes can be a long time in a chiropractor's office. In all the other professions that we teach, 15 minutes is a very short time. It's like, oh, wow, that's really good. You can get it done in that quick of a time. So there is a difference in the mentality from the other professions that come in because they think, whoa, look at this. I can get this treatment done so fast. And the chiropractors are like, wow, that takes a little bit longer to get done. But then when you see the results with it, then it's like, okay, it's worth the time that you spend. All right, so what's the goals? So the goals from the Pettibon system, the primary goal is to achieve an ideal spine by correcting spinal alignment and posture, leading to long-term spinal health and overall well-being. I am not going to disagree with that. And because the primary goal for the MyoKinesthetic is we want to balance someone's posture, because posture is the outward expression of the nervous system. I came up with that. All right. So if somebody comes in and their posture's off, we can legitimately say to someone, hey, something's not functioning right in your nervous system. Because if your nervous system was functioning properly, you would be balanced. And so, if you got one shoulder higher than the other, for those not watching it on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast. So if one shoulder is higher than the other, we can say, hey, something's not right in your nervous system. And so if we can balance those postures, or if you have somebody close their eyes and shake their head around, and then their heads lean into the side or something, we can say, hey, something's not right in your nervous system. Now, as soon as they open their eyes, they're going to straighten right back up, because the eyes, they want to be perpendicular to gravity and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, all right, so let's get back. So the methodology of the Pettibon system combines chiropractic adjustments with patient-involved exercises and equipment. So like it says here, head, shoulder, and hip weights. Well, that's what I was saying before. The head weights, sometimes you wear a headband, stick a slat of weight in there, but nobody's going to walk around like that, outside of their house. So, but then they're strengthening postural muscles to prevent future issues. And the system emphasizes active patient participation both in the clinic and at home. I like that. The thing that we found is, and a lot of the PTs tell me this, because I always say to the physical therapist, I'm like, hey, you guys probably get so much more out of the patients going home and doing their exercises because, you expect them to do it, and they're expected to do it from a physical therapy standpoint. Being a chiropractor, I have a hard time getting my patients to do the home exercises, and the physical therapists are like, yeah, they don't do them with us either. They struggle to go home and do them with us too. So that's universal. So, all right, that made me feel better. I was like, okay, good. All right, so the primary goal, which I said earlier, the primary goal for the MyoKinesthetic system is basically balancing posture. And once we can balance posture, you're going to decrease pain, you're going to increase range of motion. And so basically we want to balance the nervous system. We want to bring the patient back into a better state of allostasis, working towards homeostasis, but knowing that we'll probably never get to 100% of every single cell functioning at 100%. So that would be homeostasis. And so we're going to be at a better state of allostasis, and that's what we're trying to get to. So the way that we do it is we're going to treat or manipulate, if that's a proper term, the muscles to address these postural imbalances through the nervous system. So if we find 5 or 6 postural imbalances and we go, oh look, these all correlate along the C6 nerve pathway, then we're going to do a treatment that involves just the C6 nerve pathway on both sides, all the muscles of that, and then do the treatment, and then you start getting these postures to balance back. And so I always say we're trying to focus on the root cause. That's pretty much any chiropractic technique, though. Every chiropractic technique is trying to find the root cause, which is going to be the subluxation, which is going to be the impingement, which is going to be the problem in the nervous system. And that's what we're trying to get to. All right, so the professions that are taught. Well, Pettibon passed away a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but a couple of years ago, Pettibon passed away. And I don't think that they have any classes right now. I just went to the website, and it says that their classes are, that portion of the website is under construction. So I don't think that they have any classes right now going on. So maybe they're looking for someone to pick that part of it up. I don't know. So if you're out there and you use the technique, maybe, and you can get in front of people and talk, then maybe you can, apply and try and be an instructor for the Pettibon technique. So but they're not really teaching right now. So for the MyoKinesthetic system, there's 5 main professions that we teach. So the massage therapist is who we started out with. Chiropractors, of course, because that's what I did. And then we've got athletic trainers, because I work as an adjunct instructor with the University of Idaho in their master's and doctorate program of athletic trainers. So we got the athletic trainers. And then we have physical therapists and physical therapist assistants, occupational therapist assistants. And so those are kind of the 5 main. We've taught nurses and different professions, but those are the 5 main ones that we do. And so continuing ed units, well, again, right now, since Pettibon's not teaching classes, since the system there is not teaching classes, then there are no CEUs right now. So with the MyoKinesthetic system, depending on the state and the profession, it's somewhere between 18 to 23.2, because every state and every profession kind of calculates how they give the hours. Everybody's a little differently. But I just say, for ease, I just say about 20 hours. So for the most part, it's 20 hours. Some states are a little more than 20. Some states are a little less than 20, 19 and a half, sometimes 18 and a half. That's the lowest for the upper and the lower. 38 to 40 CEUs for the autonomic nervous system class. So, all right, let's go to class costs. Gosh, see, tough to compare from that standpoint as well. When they don't have any classes, I can't give you what the class cost. I remember when we took the classes, they weren't that expensive. They were expensive because we weren't making any money, so we had to borrow money, to go to the classes. But they, he gave us a little bit of a discount for that. So for the MyoKinesthetic system, so we have the online on-demand course. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can tap into that system anytime you want. You got a year or 2 years, depending on if you buy 1 or 2 courses in that. And that's $4.99 for a class. You can do the live webinar class. So that's where we just talk like this on the computer and go back and forth, and I demonstrate everything, and I can watch you and everything. It's like being in person, but we're doing it over the computer. Then that is $5.99. Or we can do an in-person class, and the in-person class is $6.99. And so that's kind of how our system is set up from a cost standpoint. All right, reasons to go get a treatment. So for the Pettibon system, it says it would be ideal for anybody that has chronic back or neck pain, headaches, or poor posture. Well, man, there's so many people that have poor posture. That goes for a lot of people out there. And it says, looking for long-term spinal health. So the system's emphasis on patient participation, again, usually using a wobble chair or weights or different things like that, appeals to those who want to actively engage in their recovery. It is particularly beneficial for preventing future spinal issues. And so the patient actively participates in their care using specialized equipment to prepare for adjustments, which enhances treatment effectiveness. With the MyoKinesthetic system, it's suitable for those with diverse pain and mobility issues, including chronic conditions, sports injuries, numbness and tingling like peripheral neuropathy that haven't responded to traditional treatment. So that is one of the things that I would like to say is we get so many good results from people who have gone other places and are still hurting, still can't move, still have, their issue. Find a myokinesthetic practitioner, and a lot of times you can get rid of that issue, and because the system works pretty darn good. So it's a quick, non-invasive treatment, 15 minutes or less, and usually within, what I like to say is within the first 1 to 4 treatments, you're going to know if this works or not. Not that we're only going to do 1 to 4 treatments, but you're going to be significantly improved within 1 to 4 treatments. So many people, it's 1. Just there's a high percentage of people, it's 1 treatment, they notice a difference, 2 treatments, but up to 4, where people are then like, wow, I'm so much better. And the normal question is, when should I come back? When do you want me to come back so I can stay ahead of this, problem? So, now, so the big thing with us is I like to get people out of pain and then get them moving again. Those are the 2 big things. So if we do a comparative analysis, so I had the computer here do a comparative analysis, and it says the Pettibon system, the developer was Burl. With the MyoKinesthetic system, the developer was me. So the purpose is for Pettibon, define and achieve an ideal spine. For the MyoKinesthetic system, balance the nervous system to relieve pain and restore mobility. I like that. Both of those. Conditions treated, back pain, neck pain, headaches. We got the plethora of things, right? Headaches, low back pain, sports injury, sciatica, carpal tunnel, degenerative conditions, whatever. The goal, and I'm going to say this in Pettibon's defense, it's more than just back pain, neck pain, and headaches. So the Pettibon system does treat more than that. So I do want to make that clear because, like I said, I learned from Burl, and he had a very good technique, in my opinion. So the the goal is long-term spinal alignment and postural correction with Pettibon. And with the MyoKinesthetic system, it's restore allostasis through the nervous system and balance the posture. So they're very similar from that standpoint as far as what we're trying to get to. We're just coming at it from different angles. So the professions taught, when he was teaching, he primarily taught chiropractors. We teach those 5 different professions. The CEUs, again, they're not offering right now. Ours are about 20 hours per class, 40 hours for the autonomic nervous system class. I gave you the costs earlier. There is no cost. And so both systems emphasize postural correction and its impact on health. And both systems are rooted in chiropractic principles. They involve active patient participation and aim for lasting results rather than just temporary relief. The differences, so the Pettibon system is more focused on spinal alignment and chiropractic care, while the MyoKinesthetic system addresses a broader range of conditions through balancing the nervous system. So the MyoKinesthetic system is taught to a wider professional audience, reflecting its versatility. That was from the internet. That was not me saying that, but that's just what it came up with, and I kind of liked it. So, all right, the limitations. So with Pettibon, of course the CEUs, the classes, and all that, they don't have any information on that, and so you need to maybe contact them to see if they're going to start back, on doing that. So that is a pretty good synopsis on the 2. I will say this on the Pettibon technique. So one of the things that when we were in school and we were just learning some of the Pettibon information, I remember we were going to some of our instructors and we were like, hey, have you heard of this guy? Blah, blah, blah. And it was like a Friday, and one of our instructors was saying, this guy, Pettibon, he's coming to this weekend. He's going to teach a class and all that. And he shouldn't even be allowed on the campus, and, blah, 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 blah. So we called up Burl and we're like, hey, this guy's saying, you shouldn't even come be on campus and all that. So Burl contacted that guy and said, hey, why don't you come over and just see what I have to say? Just listen for a little bit of, what we're talking about. And the one thing that I remember is going back to class on Monday, and that teacher stood up in front, to his credit, stood up in front of everybody and said, on Friday, I said this guy shouldn't be allowed to come teach on our campus. I think that his information should be taught in the core curriculum of what you're learning. And so his information, Burl's information, made that much sense. So made a convert of a guy like that. And I thought that was just really, really cool. So if you're interested in either of these techniques, you can go to the websites and find. I think they have a thing up at the top that says find a practitioner near you. We also have that up at the top of our website as well. So that's a pretty decent comparison. I could tell you some other stories and everything. We had some. One of my favorite trips in school was when we went down to Sherman College. Me and a bunch of guys, and we went down to a Pettibon seminar down there, and so that was just a fun time. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. There's some things that we keep just amongst the friends. So, all right, I will say this: if you made it this far, smile.